Okay, we're back, and the first thing we're going to do is show you how to tenderize this steak. It's thawed out, it's nice, it was from a roast, and we're just going to basically just stab it to death. We're going to take this, we're going to do both sides of this, and it only takes a short while. If you want to do it thoroughly, hitting the plate to the other side, you can feel that it went through. And now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And I'm going to turn the knife so that it's straight up and down now. See, if I had a beat, I'd be dancing in here, stabbing my steak. Alright, I think that's plenty. Alright, now we're going to take some onion powder. Give this a nice little dusting. We're going to take some garlic powder. Again, just a little dusting. Now, I like pepper, and I use it on everything. I have a ground pepper medley, but I'm just using this because I'm trying to make the video. So he's nicely done. He was already done on the other side. I'm going to turn my oven on, and I'm going to put it on about a medium heat. Let my butter melt in there. I'm going to take my brand new pot lid off, set him right there, and let this butter go around a little bit. And one of the key things that you want to do when making a steak, and it might be a common error when people cook steaks. They just throw them in there and that's the end of it. But if you take a steak, wait till your pan is hot. So it's melting the butter. It's looking nice. I like butter. You know, people could use a spray. You know, it cuts down on the calories and everything. But, you know, I'm not worried about the calories with this one. So you're looking at your butter, and I hope the camera's catching this. And you're watching the center of the pan. And as soon as you start to see the center of the pan, you get that, there you can see it right there. You can see that it's starting to bubble. So before you burn the butter, because you will burn it, bless you, Jay. And what I'm going to do is I'm waiting for that to come up like that. Yeah, there you go. It's starting to come up. And I'm going to take my steak, which has been seasoned and has been tenderized, and I'm going to stick that right in there. You can hear the sizzle on it. Now, I'm not going to put my lid on there yet, and I'm not going to add my onions yet, because what I want to do is I want to sear this steak on both ends, both sides, and that'll hold the moisture in it, but it'll still allow it to cook. So, you know, just give it just a little bit of time on one side to sear it. It'll sear it shut. And then turn it over on the other side. You can see that it's already done that. Turn it on the other side. And then I'm just going to add my onions right around the steak. And the good flavor from that will come in, and it'll add to the flavoring of the steak. And now it already smells wonderful. Now I'm going to put my lid on here because I don't want it to really escape. And I'm going to have my assistant wash up that plate real nice for me without bumping the camera, which I warned her about 20 times already, which is still already bumped. I'm going to reposition it. Please be aware of that. There you go. Give me that. Excellent assistant. It's nice to have an assistant, a camera lady. Yep. Gonna dry it off and everything for me. She's doing her A game today. Don't bump it again now, though. Look down. Alright, so we've cooked this in here. It's got a couple of minutes that it's cooked on that side. I'm leaving the lid tight. You can see the moisture already. It's vented a vented lid. We basically have turned this into a Dutch oven. And I do a lot of cooking like this with a kind of a Dutch oven style thing. Now if I was cooking big stuff, I'd use my wonderful Insignia pot, because I just love that thing. It's just amazing. You know, people who are used to cooking in crock pots and all that from days gone by, like me, this Insignia pressure cooker is just fabulous. All right, we've got a couple minutes on that side. For a medium, you know, kind of a medium rare or a medium towards the well side, you want to really only go about 3 or 4 minutes on a side. He smells real good. You can see the moisture. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, he's looking good. We're going to turn him over, and we're going to do the same thing, centering the pan right over top of the heat. I use a gas stove. I really never liked an electric stove. You don't really have as much control, although people will argue, yeah, you have a high, a low, a medium setting, that type of thing. I want to look at the flame and be able to control it. So we're going to give him about another 2 or 3 minutes searing the other side, remembering that we seared both sides of the meat already. And because we seared both sides of the meat, you're not going to have that dry texture from overcooking the steak. That may be one of the other more common mistakes that folks make, is they just cook it till it's dry, and then they wonder why they're not getting a nice juicy steak. Now, my wife does not like the bloody, you know, any kind of moistness or whatever. Now, I've shown my son the difference when we're like at the Outback, which is my favorite restaurant because they have gluten-free there. The difference between, you know, like a medium and a medium rare, and he likes the medium rare also because the meat is more flavorful. That's just the bottom line. You know, you haven't cooked it to death, you know, and so you're like not sawing hard, you know, cardboard. It's just a nice flavorful steak. Alrighty, now I think this is done. I'm going to take a look at this. Oh, it's definitely done. We're going to put him right on the plate here. I think my onions have caramelized. Yeah, they have. That's perfect. On the onions. I'm going to turn my fire off. And I'm just going to, you can hear the sizzle. I'm going to put these on the side, my onions. I'm going to put my pan over here, although it's easier to wash a pan when it's hot. That's the time to wash it. So I'm going to hand that to my cooking assistant here. And I'm going to show you how this steak looks. Now, I can tell just from forking it that it's nice and tender. Yeah, it is. And I'm going to cut this. I'll cut a big hunk off. I usually cut it nice and thin. And as you can see, it's still a little pink on the inside, which is how I like it. And it smells wonderful. I think we can just cut it down. Oh yeah, it's just cutting beautiful. It's just cutting beautiful. You can see the striations in it. Tenderizing it with the knife was definitely the thing to do. And I'm so glad that I was able to jury rig and make an adapter for the tripod, because it'll make doing filming much easier. I can set it up and I won't have to worry about it. I even have a remote now for it, and I wanted to just take some of that and give you the money shot here. I'm going to take the camera on the tripod and I'm going to see if I can't zoom in on that a little bit. I'm going to just turn it, and we're going to go down like that. And let's see if we can zoom in on that. There you go. There you go. That's the money shot right there. Look at how beautiful that steak looks. It looks just fab. So anyway, here's another in the kitchen, gardening with Vincenzo. how to make a nice steak with an inexpensive cut. This was off of a roast, and I just sliced it down. I got like 8 steaks out of it, and I think the roast was probably maybe 10-ish. So I got 8 nice steaks, for almost $1 a steak. So you can't beat that. Forget about this buying New York strips for $7.99, $10.99 a pound. All right, here's another cooking video in the kitchen, gardening with Vincenzo. I thank y'all for spending some time with me. This was part 2, again, because we had difficulties. I knocked the phone out of the holder that I picked up after I paused it. So y'all have a good night and good eating. All righty now. See you next time.